You think fire is something outside you, something dangerous, something you avoid. Flames rising from wood, heat you can feel, light you can see, but that belief is shallow. Right now, as you sit here, your body is burning, not in a dramatic way, not in a way that makes you panic, but in a quiet, controlled, relentless way that never stops. Inside every cell, a reaction is happening. Oxygen is moving in, molecules are being torn apart, energy is being released, heat is being produced. This is not metaphor, this is literal. You are on fire every second. The same fundamental process that fuels a flame is happening inside you. The only difference is speed and control. A candle burns fast and bright. You burn slow and steady. But the physics is the same. Oxidation, energy release, transformation, and without it you wouldn't exist. Every breath you take feeds this fire. Oxygen enters your lungs, dissolves into your blood, and travels through an intricate network of vessels until it reaches your cells. There it becomes the final piece in a chain reaction that breaks down the food you've eaten. Sugars, fats, proteins, all of them are dismantled, atom by atom. What you call eating is just gathering fuel. What you call breathing is just feeding the flame. And what you call living is the result of that fire being carefully controlled. This is where most people get it wrong. They imagine life as something stable, something solid, a state you exist in. But life is not a state, it's a process, a continuous reaction that must keep going every second, or it collapses instantly. There is no pause button, no reserve mode. The moment this internal fire stops, everything you are disappears. Your thoughts, your memories, your identity, all gone. Not because something mystical left your body, but because the reaction ended. That's the line between life and death. Not a dramatic event. Just chemistry stopping. Think about that. The difference between being here right now and being gone forever is nothing more than a series of reactions continuing to occur. Tiny, invisible interactions happening faster than you can comprehend. If they continue, you exist. If they stop, you don't. There is no middle ground. This should change how you see yourself. You are not a fixed object moving through time. You are a fragile system that must constantly sustain itself through energy flow. You are closer to a flame than a stone. A flame looks stable from a distance, but up close it's chaos. Particles moving, colliding, reacting, disappearing, reappearing. That's you. You feel consistent because the process is consistent. Not because you are, and here's the part that should unsettle you, you don't feel this fire. Your body hides it from you. It regulates it so precisely that you experience it as normal. Warmth, movement, thought. You don't feel the violence of molecules being broken apart. You don't sense the constant reactions happening in trillions of cells. But they are happening right now, at a scale so massive and so precise that it keeps you alive without your awareness. This means something uncomfortable. Your survival depends on processes you don't control, don't perceive, and barely understand. You trust them without thinking. You rely on them every second. And yet, they could fail, not dramatically, not with warning. Just a breakdown in the chain, a disruption in the flow, a moment where the fire weakens or stops, and that's it. So the next time you think of fire as something external, something separate from you, remember this. You are not standing apart from it, you are it. A slow-burning, controlled combustion that has been running since the moment you were born. A reaction that defines everything you are. A fire that gives you the ability to think, to question, to read these words right now. And the most unsettling part is this. It will not burn forever. You believe you are in control of your body. You decide when to move, when to speak, when to act. It feels like everything begins with you, your thoughts, your intentions, your choices, but beneath that feeling is a system that does not ask for your permission. Your body is not calm, it is not still, it is not even stable in the way you imagine. It is a tightly regulated chain reaction, closer to an explosion being held back than a structure at rest. Every second, energy is being released inside you, not in small amounts, in massive, continuous flows that would destroy you if left unchecked. The only reason you don't burn from the inside out is because this reaction is controlled with extreme precision. Oxygen enters your bloodstream and is delivered to your cells. There it participates in a sequence of reactions that strip electrons from molecules derived from the food you eat. This process releases energy. That energy is captured, redirected, and used to power everything you do. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your thoughts, all of it is fueled by this ongoing release. But here's what you rarely consider. If this process sped up just a little beyond control, The energy release would become destructive. Heat would build faster than your body could handle, proteins would break down, cells would fail. You wouldn't just feel warm, you would be consumed from within, and if it slowed down too much, the opposite would happen. Energy production would drop, systems would fail, your body would lose its ability to maintain order. You wouldn't freeze instantly, but the collapse would be just as final. You exist between these two extremes, not comfortably, not safely, precisely. This balance is not something you consciously maintain. You don't regulate the exact rate of these reactions. You don't decide how much energy is released or how efficiently it is used. You don't control the flow of oxygen at the molecular level. It happens automatically, and that should disturb you, because it means your sense of control is limited to the surface. Beneath your awareness, your existence is governed by processes that operate according to fixed laws. These laws are not flexible. They do not adapt to your desires. They do not slow down because you are tired or speed up because you are motivated. They simply continue. You can ignore them, but they will not ignore you. This is the second harsh truth. You are not the master of your own fire. You are the result of it. Your body is a system that obeys the rules of physics and chemistry with absolute precision. Temperature must stay within a narrow range. Energy must flow at a controlled rate. Reactions must occur in the correct sequence, at the correct speed, in the correct environment. If any part of this chain breaks, the entire system begins to fail. And it doesn't ask you before it does. You don't vote on whether your cells continue producing energy. You don't negotiate with the reactions happening inside you. You are carried by them. The idea that you are fully in control is comforting, but incomplete. You control your actions at a visible level, but the foundation of your existence runs deeper than choice. It runs on law. This doesn't make you powerless, but it does make you dependent. Completely dependent on a balance you did not create and cannot fully control. And here's where it becomes personal. Every moment you are alive, your body is holding back chaos, managing energy, preventing collapse, maintaining order in a universe that naturally moves toward disorder. That effort never stops, even when you sleep, even when you are still, even when you think nothing is happening. Something is always happening. The reactions continue, the energy flows, the balance holds until it doesn't, and when that balance is lost, there is no dramatic negotiation, no pause, no chance to step in and fix it manually. The system begins to fail according to the same laws that kept it running. This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to strip away the illusion. You are not a static being moving safely through time. You are a dynamic system, constantly on the edge of imbalance, sustained by processes that must remain precise every second of your life. A controlled explosion, not chaotic, not random, but never truly at rest. You look at yourself and think you are the same person you were yesterday, same body, same identity, same existence moving forward in a straight line. It feels obvious, it feels undeniable, but it's not true. What you call you is not a fixed thing. It is a pattern that is constantly changing, constantly updating, constantly dissolving and rebuilding itself at the same time. Your body is not made of permanent parts. The atoms inside you are in motion. They are replaced, recycled, exchanged with the environment around you. The air you breathe becomes part of you. The food you eat becomes your flesh. And what was once part of you is constantly leaving, through breath, through heat, through waste. You are not a closed system. You are an open flow. Right now, atoms that were not part of you a few hours ago are inside your body, participating in the reactions that keep you alive. And atoms that were part of you yesterday are already gone, scattered back into the world. This means something most people resist. There is no solid, unchanging self sitting at the center of all this. There is only continuity of pattern. Your body maintains its form not because the material stays the same, but because the structure and the process remain consistent. Like a flame that keeps its shape even though the particles inside it are constantly changing, you appear stable while everything within you shifts. That stability is an illusion created by speed and consistency. Slow it down enough and you would see it clearly. Molecules breaking apart, atoms rearranging, energy moving in and out, a constant cycle of destruction and reconstruction. And your mind is no different. Your thoughts feel personal, permanent, yours. But they are also patterns of activity, electrical signals moving through networks of neurons, chemical changes that shift and adapt based on experience, environment, and time. The thought you had a moment ago is already gone, replaced by another, and another. There is no fixed you holding them all. There is only the process generating them. This is the third harsh truth. You are not a permanent being. You are a temporary pattern held together by continuous change. The fire inside you is part of that pattern. It flows through you, powers you, sustains you. But it does not belong to you in any permanent sense. It is borrowed energy, passing through a temporary structure, and eventually that structure will no longer hold. When the reactions stop, when the flow ends, the pattern breaks. The atoms remain, but the organization that made them you disappears. Not slowly, not partially, completely. This is where most people turn away, because it challenges the deepest assumption they carry, that there is something solid at the core of their existence, something that persists unchanged. But physics does not support that idea. Everything you are depends on motion, interaction, and change. Remove those, and there is nothing left to preserve. This is not a loss of meaning. It is a shift in how meaning works. If you are a pattern, then your value is not in lasting forever. It is in how that pattern exists while it does, how it organizes energy, how it creates order out of chaos, how it experiences, reacts, and influences the world around it during the brief time it holds together. You are not here to be permanent. You are here to happen, and happening is fragile. Every second, the processes that maintain you are working against the natural drift toward disorder. Every moment you remain organized is a kind of defiance, a temporary stand against the breakdown that eventually comes for all systems. Ignoring this doesn't protect you from it. It only blinds you to what you are, a dynamic structure, a living pattern, a brief alignment of matter and energy that calls itself me, even though it is constantly changing beneath the surface. And the moment that change can no longer sustain the pattern, the idea of you ends with it. The fire inside you did not begin with you. It didn't start on this planet. It didn't start with life. It didn't even start with Earth. It began long before any human ever existed, in places so extreme that your mind struggles to picture them. Inside stars. Every breath you take carries oxygen that was forged in the core of a star. Not metaphorically, literally. Under crushing pressure and unimaginable heat, atoms were forced together, fused into heavier elements, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, the basic ingredients of your body. Stars lived, stars burned, stars collapsed, and when they died, they exploded, scattering those elements across space. That debris drifted for millions, even billions of years. It gathered, it cooled, it formed new systems, planets, atmospheres, oceans. Eventually it formed something that could breathe, something that could burn slowly instead of violently. Something like you. This means your body is not separate from the universe, it is a direct continuation of it. The same processes that ignite stars now operate inside your cells, just on a smaller, controlled scale. The fire you carry is not new, it is ancient, older than Earth, older than life. You are not just in the universe, you are the universe reorganized into a form that can experience itself. But here is the part most people avoid. The universe did not do this for you. There was no intention, no plan, no guarantee that you would exist. The same laws that created the stars, the same forces that scattered their remains, also allowed for your existence, but they did not promise it, and they do not protect it. The processes that built you are the same ones that will eventually erase you. Not out of cruelty, not out of purpose, just because that's what those processes do. Stars burn out, systems break down, structures collapse, and so will you. This is the uncomfortable reality hiding beneath the beauty of it all. Yes, you are made of stardust. Yes, your atoms were forged in cosmic fire. But that does not make you permanent, it makes you temporary in a much larger story. A brief moment where matter becomes aware before returning to silence. And here's where it becomes personal. You spend most of your life thinking in small scales, daily problems, short-term plans, immediate concerns. You act as if your time is abundant, as if there is always more ahead. But when you place your existence against the timeline that created you, something shifts. The universe took billions of years to produce the conditions that allow you to exist, and you get a few decades to experience it. That's it. No extensions, no guarantees. Ignoring this truth leads to a quiet kind of waste. Not dramatic failure, not obvious destruction. Just time slipping away while you assume there will always be more. You delay what matters. You ignore what calls you. You settle into routines that feel safe but lead nowhere. all while the same cosmic fire that built you continues to burn through your limited time. And it doesn't slow down for indecision. It doesn't pause for comfort. Every second that passes is energy used, time gone, a piece of your existence that will never return. This is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to wake you up. Because once you understand where you come from, you also understand what's at stake. You are the result of a chain of events so vast and unlikely that it borders on impossible. Not because the universe intended it, but because the conditions aligned just long enough for it to happen. And now that it has happened, it is already moving toward its end. The fire inside you is not just keeping you alive. It is counting you down, not in a dramatic, visible way, not with a ticking clock you can hear, but with every reaction, every breath, every moment that passes. The total time available to you is being reduced. This is the cost of being part of the universe. You get to exist, but not for long. And pretending otherwise doesn't change the outcome. It only changes how you spend the time you have. So now you know the truth. You are not stable. You are not permanent. You are not in control in the way you thought. You are a process, a pattern, a slow-burning fire shaped by forces older than time as you understand it. And that leaves you with one question. What are you going to do with it? Because whether you think about it or not, the fire is still burning. Every second, energy is being used. Time is being consumed. Your existence is unfolding in one direction only, forward. There is no rewind, no pause, no reset. You don't get your time back. You don't get unused moments returned to you later. Every second that passes is gone, permanently converted into heat, into action, into memory, or into nothing meaningful at all. And most people waste it. Not in obvious ways, not by doing nothing, but by drifting, by staying comfortable, by avoiding the things that feel difficult, uncertain, or demanding. They assume there is always more time to act, more time to change, more time to become something different. There isn't. That assumption is the quiet lie that drains entire lives. Because while you hesitate, the reactions continue. The fire doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't slow down so you can figure things out. It just burns, and every moment you delay is a moment that will never come back. This is the shift you have to make. Stop thinking of your life as something you own. Start seeing it as something that is happening right now. A brief window where matter and energy have aligned just enough to give you awareness, to give you choice at the surface level, to give you the ability to act, to decide, to direct your attention. That window is small, smaller than you feel, smaller than you want to admit, and once it closes, nothing you didn't do will matter. The universe will not pause and ask what you intended. It will not give you credit for plans you never acted on. It will not remember the version of you that could have been. It only reflects what actually happened. So here is the hard truth you cannot ignore anymore. You are already burning. You are already losing time. You are already moving toward the end of this process. The only thing still undecided is how you use what remains. You can keep drifting, keep distracting yourself, keep telling yourself that you'll start later, think deeper later, act differently later. Or you can face what is real. You can accept that your existence is limited, that your internal fire is temporary, and that this moment, this exact moment, is part of a shrinking set of opportunities you will never get back. And once you accept that, something changes, excuses lose their weight, fear loses its grip, delay stops making sense, because you realize there is nothing to wait for, no perfect time is coming, there is only now, and the fact that it is already passing. So if there is something you want to understand, start now. If there is something you want to build, start now. If there is a way you want to think, to live, to exist differently, start now, not later. Because later is just a story you tell yourself while the fire keeps burning. This is your reality, a controlled combustion running out in real time. And the final question is simple: when the fire is gone, when the reactions stop, when the pattern that is you no longer holds, will there be anything real behind you, or just time that burned without purpose? Decide while you still can.